Prosecutors are now explicitly alleging that Routh was in West Palm Beach last weekend, 8 days ago, with the intention of assassinating former President Donald Trump.
Trump was playing golf last week when investigators say the suspect pointed a rifle through a fence bordering the West Palm Beach Golf Club. Now prosecutors say the suspect had a list of places Trump could be and visited that golf club several times in the month before his arrest.
All evidence that prosecutors will be sure to use against Trump's second would-be assassin as he's being prosecuted, both by state prosecutors and federal prosecutors.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it.
Now, new court filings by Florida prosecutors provide additional details about Ryan Routh and what was found on the scene and in his car. So let's start with the letters or the notes that investigators have found. So they have found that Routh sent a letter to a witness months prior to the attempted Trump assassination in which he predicted his attempt on Trump's life would fail. But he also encourages violence, which I do not want to detail. I don't want to repeat this man's lunacy because I don't want to accidentally, by definition, like encourage someone by reading his words. So I just want to be clear about that. But we don't know exactly when he wrote the letter and which date exactly he sent that letter to a friend in a box or to the witness in a box. Now, there was also a letter found that was addressed to the New York Times, but Ruth's fingerprints were not found on it. Apparently someone else's fingerprints were found on it, and we have no other details about that letter to the New York Times. Now, his defense attorney argued that all Routh was trying to do was a publicity stunt, and that he never intended on assassinating Donald Trump, but the judge is not buying that argument at all. And so the court proceedings will in fact move forward. And you should also keep in mind that he had been scouting Mar-a-Lago several times before he eventually got caught. He had arrived to Florida from Hawaii about a month prior to the attempt on Trump's life. Now, I'm gonna go to what was found in his car in just a moment because I think the details there are even more interesting. But before we do, Cenk, any thoughts so far?
Yeah, so all these guys are looking for attention. That's why I don't think anybody should read the letter. And I hate that they got out there. I don't think it should have gotten out there. They could say that he has a letter and not publish it. I don't think there's a lot of value in what a lunatic who was trying to assassinate a political figure has to say about it.
I agree, especially considering its promotion of violence.
Yeah, and guys, don't get it twisted. We're not covering for him. No, he was encouraging more violence. That's why we're not doing it, because I don't want his poison to get spread into the country.
Agreed, 100%. Okay, so let's talk about what was found in his vehicle. So authorities recovered 6 cell phones from his car, and they found that he had used one of those cell phones to search how to get from Palm Beach County, where Mar-a-Lago, of course, is located, to Mexico, probably to try to escape any consequences for the crime that he was intending to commit. Now, there was also a handwritten list of venues that Trump has held or is holding events from August through October. So again, more evidence that could show intent as prosecutions move forward. But the most troubling new detail contained in the court filings allege that Routh had a clear line of sight to the 6th hole on the golf course. Something that we didn't know previously. Trump, by the way, was playing on the 5th hole when the Secret Service detected the would-be assassin and luckily prevented him from carrying out what he allegedly intended to carry out. Now, here's former Secret Service agent Jason Russell discussing the possible flaws in how the Secret Service secured the area prior to Donald Trump arriving to play golf. Let's watch.
Prosecutors revealed that Routh had a direct line on the 6-hole green, which was the next hole that Trump would have played. This man was able to get a direct line with his rifle pointed onto the course. How much does that signal to you that this was a clear failure on the part of the US Secret Service?
Yeah, I think they weren't treating it as they obviously should have treated it, right? The perimeter wasn't big enough. This is the second time we've seen this, so obviously some concerns there. His ability to stay there for 12 hours ahead of time and not being picked up by anybody because that area wasn't swept, I think is a significant concern for the Secret Service.
How surprising is it to you that there were these security vulnerabilities, given the fact that the first assassination attempt was just a few months ago?
Extremely surprising. I think the Secret Service was treating this more like they would treat an off-the-record movement. So maybe there wasn't a lot of heads up given that he was going to play golf, even though there's some indication that he had said the night before that he was going to. So sweeping this area probably should have been done well in advance of him actually even getting to the course. So the fact that this guy was able to get so close, have the rifle there, within several hundred yards, had he not been observed, he obviously would have been able to get a shot on.
So that's true. Had he not been observed by the Secret Service and they were able to stop him from causing real harm, he could have caused real harm considering the clear line of sight to Donald Trump if he made it to the 6th hole. But I do want to reiterate that the Secret Service ultimately did what they were supposed to do in protecting Donald Trump's life.
Look, I get concerns about, hey, that's next to a road. He's playing golf there. He's been there for 12 hours. It's amazing no one saw him, let alone the Secret Service. I get that. Having said that, you don't get to say that the Secret Service had trouble protecting him when they protected him. They do a sweep of the hole behind him and the hole in front of him. When they did the sweep of the hole in front of him, they found the guy and they fired at him and they protected Donald Trump. I'm okay if people say, hey, listen, nevertheless, we should beef up the Secret Service even a little bit more, maybe get them more staffing, etc. That seems like a constructive solution to the problems that we've had. But that people aren't leaving it there. That's why that segment, I don't know. I get it, I understand it, but it's also a little dangerous because it seems to leave a question lingering in the air. Like, are they doing it on purpose? But brother, in this case, they got the guy. He didn't get a shot off.
Listen, exactly. They got the guy and he was unable to cause any harm to Donald Trump, which if anyone believes that the Secret Service is secretly trying to help bad actors harm Donald Trump, like how do you explain the fact that they stopped a bad actor from harming Donald Trump? So I'm not buying into those conspiracy theories at all, but I do think that this could be a teachable moment in which the Secret Service could maybe, yes, beef up its security, maybe have a wider perimeter around, the former president in order to, just a teachable moment, that's it. Now, finally, I just want to note that the state, of course, has already filed charges against him. And the charges include possession of a firearm as a convicted felon. Also, he was in possession of a gun that had an obliterated serial number. So those are the state charges. But now we're hearing that the federal government is filing charges as well. And the charge that we're hearing that they're filing is attempted assassination. And so he will be facing both state and federal prosecution over what he attempted to do last week.
Good, he should spend the rest of his life in prison, in my opinion. And look, we've got to send a very strong message that this is not anywhere near acceptable. He had a rifle, he had all these things. He was going to try to kill the president. And look, the rest is obvious. And the Secret Service protection for both candidates should be increased. The staffing should be increased so they could do better sweeps so this kind of nonsense doesn't happen. But at the same time, we should thank the Secret Service members who caught the guy, who spotted him, caught him, and prevented the shooting. But that never gets said. So thank you guys for at least preventing it.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us, become a young Turk.